Evening. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to rabble some shite, really. This live might be a bit shorter than normal because there's nothing really much to go on. The market's a bit slow. There has been some news regarding stable currencies, which is normal. But I hope you're well. Hope you've had a good weekend and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet this week. Because yeah, there's like, when we look at like Bloomberg, for example, which I showed you on the Discord, there's nothing really much in terms of the macros to look at other than some PMI stuff in China. But the main thing is obviously this stable currency kind of bullshit, which I think is pretty much bullshit. So I did tweet about it just recently regarding obviously this. So the volume of this is actually relatively small. It's only 250,000, which is relatively low, right? So when we're looking at BUSD on the Coinbase exchange, it's only that much. There's a lot of doomsday predictors out there already going, well, you know, we're probably going to go down to 12k now. Because, yeah, this is huge. It's fucking not. It's a fucking sausage in a pan. It's nothing. I mean, look at the size of the volume on Binance. I mean, that would be a fucking problem. Not $250,000. It's a joke, man. So, yeah, a lot of people are getting a little bit scared. It did rattle the market a little bit when that news came out because of who it is. It's more authority of where it came from than the actual effect of it. It's fucking tiny. Like, that is such a small amount. I mean, let's go and find some more Coinbase bloody pairs. There must be some more somewhere, surely. I mean, I don't think there is. Like, BUSD is barely used anywhere. You can see the volume. Look at the volume. Shit. Anywhere other than, you know, Binance, for obvious reasons, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't really be too worried about it. It's all Binance, literally. So, yeah, not that bothered in all fairness. But this has really taken a hit. If we look at the overall kind of metrics on this, if you're going to work, market cap. Ooh, hello. Ooh. How do you get a stable currency in a bear market? It doesn't make sense, does it? So this is majorly dropped, right? So it looks like to me that it's going to vanish eventually. I don't think this will be around for much longer. Unless they get a new issuer, and I don't think that's going to happen. Binance doesn't need a stable coin. It was great to hold. It was great for a time period because of the liquidity. The liquidity was quite low on a big exchange. It meant you got better orders. But that soon stopped. As soon as they got higher liquidity, it kind of got a bit shit, really. So the best thing to do is use Tether, essentially. So, yeah, not so worried about it. In all fairness, I will look at the chart in a bit. And feel free, if you've got any questions about stable currencies, feel free to chuck them in the chat. But there is mainly three that I look at. Obviously, BUSD is much bigger than DAI, but that's a bit of a different sort of asset. If you look at DAI, this is more for like holding your assets more than actually trading your assets, essentially, as you can imagine. There's not much in there. More of a holding kind of situation, but hey-ho. Anyways, other things to talk about. This is a big thing as well, right? So, as we know, with a bit of FUD at Resistance, we get it all the time. Well, the obvious is, well, it's kind of obvious, really, when we think. There's a few things that are quite obvious. Securities, SEC, jurisdiction, all kinds of words, right? So the SEC, Mr. Gensler, and I mentioned this on my YouTube video today, has said that everything is a security except for Bitcoin. Every company out there is a violation. Crypto is pointless, but blockchain is kind of neat. So it's interesting. It's interesting to note that obviously the last line is an interesting one. Now, I would say yes, a lot of crypto tokens are fucking pointless, right? Blockchain itself is amazing, right? There's some fantastic assets out there that have got blockchains. There's some absolute shit assets that are harboring or utilizing the element of another blockchain, ERC20 tokens, for example, ERC777, for example, stuff like that. But then you've got the cryptocurrency blockchain builders within the space that you've probably never heard of that are there, but they don't have a token, like Hyperledger, for example, building blockchains for big, massive companies. There's loads of them. There's some massive, massive, massive brands out there that they won't ever have a token because they don't need one. So it is an interesting point. I don't agree with the other two. I think there is a clear, obvious definition between a security and a non-security, if that makes sense. And also, as well, every company out there is a violation. I disagree with that because the SEC is technically working from America. There's a lot of other ones out there that are from different countries for obvious reasons, have different laws. So I don't agree with that. But this has kind of rattled people up the wrong way as well. This is a huge amount of stuff. And obviously you can see here, look at this. I mean, this is unbelievable. Like, I know I always say risk management and nothing lasts forever and all this kind of stuff, but that's fucking monstrous. If that happens, right, and if there is 12,300 tokens that are unregistered securities in the US, yeah. Well, that's going to put us into the dark ages massively. That's going to be a big, big, big problem. And if you look at, obviously, the numbers and the stats on, obviously, what this person here has done, it's monstrous. It's huge. You know, they are not going to do it. They are not going to go that far. No way. Most tokens will adapt. If they scare people, they'll adapt. They'll do the right things that need to be done. And, you know, realistically, yes, most tokens will go to zero, which will be a massive clear up. So this is why I keep saying to people, try and look for tokens that are kind of have that element of soundness to them, that are backed by certain things, that have got good technology and they've done the right channels. If you're into a token that's done like a really dodgy ICO, or certain things have happened in terms of the makeup of it, it will become a potential SEC type thing, especially if it was in America, especially if it was a dodgy ICO, like especially the old ones. So we've got to look at those things, but I'm not sure if this is all just hot air. I do not think, you know, when I look at this and I'm thinking about it now, whenever we get stuff like this, we tend to come out stronger. You know, as much as the SEC can go for it, I don't know why the SEC don't focus on scams and just focus on protecting people against shit exchanges, against stuff like that. Because I think that is a massive, massive problem versus, oh, let's just go for random coins that did an ICO back in 2019 or whatever. It's fucking pointless. But hey ho. Anyways, TA. Technical analysis. It's looking a bit shit now, isn't it? It was looking good this morning until that news all came out. I think all the news came out. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. Let's look at the weekly, because someone just said, is the weekly time frame not bothering you? Not really, no. The weekly looks fine. We have created a new high. Yes, we are retracing right now. 3-day time frame doesn't look too bad. We are still in a correction sort of pattern. We have still formed a big move. We've formed a higher low. And yeah, we've formed a new high. So it is still bullish so far. Unless we melt below here, pull up, and create a little head and shoulders, it will then become bearish. So I'm not that worried at the moment, especially with Bitcoin. Daily time frame doesn't look too bad. Yes, you can still see we have created a high, pulled back. We have found a little bit of juice here, but we'll see. We've got to remember it is Monday. It's not been a very good Monday in terms of the news and the information that's came out. But yeah, some things are all right. It's not too bad. You know, Bitcoin's only down 1% of the day. That's nothing to be, you know, scared of. Obviously, yes, this is looking good. But yeah, things are, in my opinion, looking fine overall. I'm not too worried yet until something changes. Total market cap, a similar sort of situation. We are still forming a new high. We've pulled back. You know, we have found levels of support somewhere, which is good, which is fine. Not that bothered. But the reason why I'm kind of more bullish is because of what's happened with the dollar. The dollar has been rising significantly over the last month, right, since February, and we've been holding pretty well. I mentioned this in my YouTube video. Bitcoin and gold has been running together, but over the last start of February, gold melted. You know, since the 2nd of Feb. You know, 2nd of Feb. You know, we did this giga bounce. We made a new high versus gold. You know, if gold bounces well, we might well follow it. So we'll see. I wonder if this is a correction pattern. Maybe. We'll see. But no, I'm not. I'm genuinely not worried. I'm pretty happy with my positions. Either way, though, like, someone put a really good comment on my YouTube video today. I was like, oh, good perspective. And even though I asked the question, are you bullish or bearish in my video? The person said, well, we're closer to the bottom than we are the top, which does make sense. So if you're a hodler, it's fine. You know, there's always going to be opportunities. I mean, 23k Bitcoin, yes, if we go lower, cool. It's opportunity, right? It's opportunity to load up more. It may be a bit of pain for some people, but at the end of the day, we're investors. We are still not investing at the highs or anywhere near the local tops. Nowhere near. Like, even or not so much the local tops, but like the top of the market of the next cycle, potentially, right? You've got to make money via buy and low, and this is where people get scared. And it's been funny because the last 2 weeks, Patreon's been very, very busy, And then all of a sudden, as soon as these red candles came, it's gone very, very quiet. And the cancellations came, and it's like, oh, here we go. This is kind of what every single time, like, people struggle to see the correlation between opportunity versus profit taking, right? You've got to have the opportunity to then have profit at some point in the future down the line. This is why I'm also doing certain things with the inverse pairs on Bybit. So I'm going to document one on learning crypto for the dot pairs. I'm going to do other ones as well for my other kind of pairs. So maybe a bit down, maybe a bit of Ethereum, a bit of Polkadot. Just go long inverse pairs. Fuck it, treat it as a spot bag, just manage the liquidation level, and then just see where I go, but on a 2x leverage. Basically, be Michael Saylor or fucking 3 Arrows Capital, but without blowing myself up is kind of the game I'm playing. It's why not, fuck it, bit of fun. But yeah, things are looking good, but you've got to think, right, make a DAO, right? Now, I've said this before, we all know it's in the earner portfolio. It's doing well because of two things. One, the uncertainty with stable currencies because of the DAI. It's been a decentralized network and the most obvious one. And the second one is they're bringing out a new lending and borrowing protocol very, very soon, which could, well, make it go even higher in terms of use case and utility for the DAI network, which is going to be fantastic. So fingers crossed that blows through the roof at some point. I think we'll see. But yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty there. But I am genuinely not worried about this market right now. I went on Twitter before and people are like really flapping. This is why I brought up the fact of like the Coinbase thing. People are like, oh fuck, we're going to go down to the dark ages. Oh, come on. It's like no volume, literally none. So it's fine. But that being said, and you all know my state of affairs right now, I'm in the market, right? I'm quite happy to be chilling. I make more money now in terms of units, get that right, units, being in the market than I do being out of it, because there's nowhere for me realistically to put my stable currencies to work. You got to think of that as well as a factor, and it's something I didn't mention in that video. And I totally forgot about it until I thought about it recently, thinking, fucking hell, I can't actually do anything. And then obviously then I thought, oh, yeah, makes sense. So when you think, like, I've got obviously my Polkadot working for me, my Glimmer working for me, my Ethereum now is staking, right? The only thing that I'm not realistically staking is obviously BitDAO, Octopus, RSR, stuff like that, which isn't too bad. But yeah, at the end of the day, like when you combine it all together, it's like, yeah, sweet, it's earning units for free, a zero-based cost. Yes, there's going to be other bits to that, which is a pain in the ass in terms of taxes and miscellaneous kind of costs. But other than that, it's much better than just hodling a stable currency into death. You don't know where it's going to bottom out. And realistically, when I look at the bigger time frames and zoom out, it's like, oh, sweet, that's okay. I'm happy. If we go below 18k, I'll be like, right, let's get the coin purse out, let's put some money in, and I'll just buy some more, which is fine. Are all proof-of-work blockchains considered securities? Well, what Gensler's saying is that proof-of-work is not a security, that everything except Bitcoin is a security. So that would indicate that proof-of-work is a system in terms of how it works with the mining algorithm and how it was generated as a fair thing and has not been, all that bollocks, is fine. Which I find it hard to fathom. I've not been around that long enough to understand the growth of the proof-of-work blockchain, so I kind of missed that era. I came into the era when it was ICO boom. So from 2016, when the ICO started to take off a little bit, and yeah, like this was before the fork of obviously the multiple times what Bitcoin was forked into, like Peercoin, freaking Darkcoin, which then became Dash, etc., etc. Obviously, elements of Doge, Litecoin. So I don't know if he's going off the hymn sheet that for it to not to be a security, it has to be done by POW, where no one's investing, they're generating. Oh, I don't know. I don't fucking know. It's over my head. But yeah, we'll see how things go. Tell you one thing, right? I will say this now. If Ethereum is a security, this market's fucked. That's all I want to say. Because regardless of how much you love whatever asset you've got, there's always an element of Ethereum within it, like Polkadot, Ethereum virtual machine. Same with most layer 1 blockchains now, they all interoperate with that language. And it's mad when you think, like, if that is a security, we're going to get sent fucking so far into the dark ages, it's going to be pointless for a while. So yeah, it's a little bit of a worry really, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're that stupid, because I think a lot of people in high places in the world have now got some cryptocurrency. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Long rows. I mean, rows from this level is pretty tidy, really. Let's be fair here. I mean, higher time frames looks pretty neat anyways. Like for me, Like, I can't. My orders are pretty decent on the earner portfolio, but this was a massive run. But it is pulling back quite nicely, actually. We'll see where it goes. This is going to be a 50% level, give or take, around here. Nice level, to be fair. But yeah, we'll see what the market's doing. I think the market has been rattled a little bit. Genuinely has been rattled a little bit in terms of what information's came out today. And I just don't think people understand what's happening. And I think waking up to the news over the weekend of seeing what's happening with, obviously, the SEC, that is the biggest fear ever. Obviously, it is. It's fear. And it's mental when you think about it. I hate the fact that we're sitting here thinking that anything can blow up anytime. That's the worst thing about investing. It really is. It doesn't matter what you invest in. It literally could be anything. Like, you could invest in Boeing, and you don't want to see on the news, fucking hell, plane just came out of the sky, or another one just vanished, for example. You know, obviously what happened a couple of years back. Was it Indonesia? One of the flights that went missing. So you don't want stuff like that to kind of affect, obviously, investments. But that's the reality of investment. But the problem is with crypto, it's pretty normal, and obviously a lot more on the line with it. But obviously, yes, anything can go wrong in investment. So I don't want it to be outside interference. I'd rather it because something went kaboom than, oh, the SEC's come and just like, oh, you're a security kind of pish. But it's bollocks. A0 or Rose, I think they're both fantastic, to be fair. I think A0 is absolutely, this has got huge potential, but so has Rose. Both have got fantastic potential. Rose has got a bit of a better kind of risk to reward to it because of where it is and when it came out, and we've seen where it's been before. A0 came out at the worst possible time, so we don't know where its like full-on potential is. So there's a lot of guesswork with A0, but it could go much higher than where its all-time high was, which was literally, it came out, I think it came out in November, December time of 2021, which was not the best time to come out as a token. Maybe, I think it was like the IEO then, and then I think it went live on the market in February. So yeah, as you can imagine, you don't have much data to go on. But whereas when you look at Rose, like, yes, he's done fantastic things in the market, but ultimately as well, you got to remember this, bear with me, it wasn't really fully cooking with gas here either. But the risk to reward on Rose is ridiculous. If they could sort this out and the price is fine and they've built a decent blockchain and it's not into any sort of issues with other things, it might be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, the market's not looking too great today though. Monthly time frame though, look at this monthly time frame. This is the worst candle you want to look at. It's not bearish, but it's not bullish neither. It's kind of proper neutral candle, this. So if you're looking at textbook, that is a neutral candle. But when you look at the previous month in terms of January, that's not bad when you think about it. So we've had a big boom. We haven't had a massive monster pullback. It's still green. It's still kind of looking okay. But the reality is we may well still be looking at a retracement of that candle. And I've been saying that all along, that we could be looking at like going back down to 21k. Just pull back that candle a little bit, get some liquidity and see where we go. Because a lot of people seem to be panicking, thinking, fucking hell, this is just like a proper bear market rally. Bear market rallies don't tend to break structure like that, is a ferocious kind of thing when you look at the obvious of where it kind of was. So someone did mention this on my YouTube video, well, it looks like a bear market rally, but realistically, when you look at bear market rallies, they're like this, they don't break structure, whereas we broke structure pretty convincingly here, which we did, and then we went even higher, and then we went and made a complete new body closure high, well, pretty much double top essentially here. Like, realistically, it's very unlikely. I mean, look how many levels we've got now below. Usually it goes up to a level, then pulls back, which is why they're quite ferocious. But we hardly had any of that previous site in this previous bear market. It was pretty, like, we had one little one here, little one here, nothing major. Whereas in the previous cycle, you had some pretty big meaty ones, but again, they didn't break structure. Like, they kept creating these obvious swooping lows and into these kind of levels, but you never broke structure. You never broke above the level. Obviously, if you broke above there, it's different. Whereas we have finally done it. And we've also went down bloody nearly, 78, 90, 80% on BTC. I think it's about 78%, give or take. So yeah, you've got to draw the line somewhere. If this went to here and turned around, it's a bear market rally. And even then, from like obviously this low to roughly around here. Oh shit, hold on. Can't see me fucking thing. Where's me thing? There we go. White. Still a 29% move to there. We've obviously went really high, went 62. So that for me, from this point onwards, from this area here, is like an extension of that. If this is a fucking bear market rally and we create a new low from this point, that is a ridiculous, cruel, horrible bear market rally, which is a massive deviation, which will catch pretty much everyone out. Everyone, not just the experts here. I mean, let's be fair here, it will catch everyone out. So we've got to look at that. I know I'm randomly going on a tangent about bear market rallies, but it doesn't feel like one. You know, bear market rallies never break structure, essentially. You know, when you're looking at like the higher time frames anyways, you know, you got to look at those as boundaries, because you're basically breaking out of a trend. And if you're breaking out of a trend and you're creating a new trend, why it then has to stop to be a rally. It's then, you know, a much bigger thing than that. Plus, the length of time, if you're going from this low, from 21st November to here, it's quite a long time. It's a very, very long time, low to high. But hey ho, I'm waffling now. But yeah, the market's looking a little bit weaker this evening. It's looking relatively strong, going into a nice bounce. Thinking my YouTube video is great. I put it out, the Bitcoin price was pumping. I was like, fucking hell, look at this. It's going to go to the fucking moon. We're going to go and retest 24, 25k. It didn't happen, did it? But yeah, it's still early days though. But yeah, it's looking interesting. This may well bounce though at some point. You got to think, look at these levels. It may well bounce. But it doesn't rule out the fact of what I said a few weeks back. Low to high, we may well come right back into here, get a right big grab. And if it goes like that and then it swoops, could be a monster. But that being said, it depends on how many people has been taken out of here. There'll be a lot of late shorters, a lot of late longs punished around these levels, because obviously people would have shorted this, fuck, boom. That's kind of what happened. Again, same here. People would have been looking at longing this because they're idiots. It happens. It's one of those things. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty happy with my position. I don't care much about my US dollar position in terms of value when I'm looking at the market in this situation. I want more units, and if I get units for free, I'm happy. Simple as that. I think everyone... That's the one thing about Patreon I think people tend to learn very quickly, is obviously if you forget about the dollar average, or you know, all the way of programming the market in terms of how you feel, you need to think about units more than anything. If you're accumulating units, you've got to think of the future value. At some point there will be a future value, but we'll see how it goes. What's the next narrative? No idea. No idea. I don't look at narratives. I think they're a waste of time. The pump if they want to pump, put it that way. And if something gets hype, everything else gets hype, then all the influencers start talking. That's all it is. AI was a shit narrative, which is the one I avoided because I thought it was pointless. Like, the first thing I did on that AI narrative was, right, is there an asset that I can use like ChatGPT for crypto? And there wasn't. There was nothing anywhere near it. I was like, yeah, this is shit. There'll be some good narratives out there, like the multi-chain narrative will be a good one if it fully kicks off and works. That'll work well. But yeah, it feels like there's a lot of fear in the market right now. And right now it's because I think a lot of people got trapped. You know, this is what it feels like, right, to me. This is my obvious opinion. It feels like retail started to come back, and now we've got a bit of red. The panic's here. And I feel like the market's panicking more than what it was in the last few weeks. Even though, right, we've had a nice correction to the downside here of what, 12%, give or take, over a period that was over 2 weeks. 12 days, sorry. No, 10 days. So from that high to low, 10 days, right? So all of a sudden, people are like looking at this thinking, fucking hell, what's happening? And we're only down, you know, if we're looking at that 6 days, 9.9. So you may well find a lot more panic in the market here over the time frame, because yes, we are doing a correction, but it's still bullish. Like in terms of the market structure, it still looks absolutely fine. Higher time frames still above the EMAs on the structure levels of the dollar, same on the daily. But we're just pulling back. We have created a new high, a pretty weak new high, but that's a big level of resistance. If we find levels here and we do continue going up, and it is like a, you know, essentially like we are continuing going this way, utilizing obviously the higher low situation, yeah, could be a nice little retest. But as I've said before in previous videos, if we break above 25k, there's a massive gap where we need to move into. But what goes up tends to come back down. What goes down tends to come back up as well. But we may well start consolidating. I am very aware that this and here could be a range. And it might be boring for a lot of people. I would personally like that until about May, June time. I would like it to go boring and just chill and relax. Because I think it needs it. I think the market, after this big gigapump, it needs it. But I've said it before, if we break above and go towards 30k, retail are just going to go, hello, we're back. And they're going to lose again, like always, because it's usually what happens. But hey ho, it is what it is. But yeah, it'll be fine. Any more questions before I vanish? I'm not going to be spending too much time on this live today, because I've got stuff to do. And also, the market's rather flat in terms of news and opinions, other than the fact that we went up today and then we went back down below where we started, which kind of sucks a little bit. But overall, I'm not really that fussed. I think it's, we're still waiting for this kind of bounce to come in, this liquidity to see if we'll go a bit higher. But yeah, I'm just speculating. I'm not really that bothered. It's quite fine. I think it's good. The good thing is, as well, random thing, my rewards on Polkadot have gone up massively because a lot of people have unstaked. Likely if it would hit 30k, it might drop down to 25k, and soon after that, probably would. I think a lot of people might have got nuked here. I think a lot of people went, well, hey, we're going towards, we're over 25k, because we were over it, only by like a couple, $200-300, give or take, and then I think people would have stormed in, and the door slammed them on the face. You don't FOMO into stuff like that. It's ridiculous. I mean, you got to think logic here. People would have got very, very excited. And I saw it on Twitter. People were getting very, very excited. It's pretty good. I was like, fucking hell, this is amazing. How are we doing this? And then all of a sudden, oopsie, it shot itself, which is fine. The VIX is starting to go back down again, which is interesting. But we'll see what the gold does. See if it bounces. But it'll be fine. Overall, my analysis, I'm not worried yet. We've not created an ugly pattern just yet. But either way, if we do fall down low, I'm just going to be like, yep, sweet. More time to buy. I can redistribute some money. Be quite happy. In the meantime, making good money on my units. But as I said with Polkadot and Glimmer and stuff like that, because it's all factored in with a ratio of how many people staking, the less people staking, the more you'll get. So you've got to hold your nerve. And the shittest part about Polkadot, as you know, is a 28-day period. Glimmer's not too bad, it's 7 days, right? If you could have a target, so for me, it probably would be about $15. I'll probably start looking at, I may just start unstaking. I have got some out of the market, out of the staking, that I will unstake. But if you can make more by just sitting on it, sweet. You don't want to blow it too early, essentially. Yes, obviously you want to take profit, but, my rewards are much higher than what they were like over a week ago. Really high. It's like, sweet, I'm making quite a bit here. When I combine it all and think, fucking hell, that's decent. When you look, how much dot am I making per day? Wow. Put that as zero-based cost on your portfolio every single month. It soon changes your portfolio outlook, especially when it's free money. It's like free. Well, technically free. But hey-ho. Anyways, have a good evening, everyone. I know it's shorter than normal. But yeah, there's nothing really much to analyse other than the fact that we're waiting to see if the bulls do step in. If the pattern changes, I will let you know. There will be a technical Tuesday tomorrow on a lot of, on a lot of random assets. But we'll see what the market does tomorrow. We may well start to see a bit more of a better picture if we get a bearish kind of close today. But yeah,